We are recording. Hello, Leah.
Hello, Kyle.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a long week. I built some content generators like 5 months ago, and then we actually sold the concept to a client, and so now we're actually having to deliver it. And I realized that all of the original prompts that I wrote were really horrible. They were on GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 is there. So I spent like 2 hours today like rewriting 2 prompts. And I'm like, well, there you go. So
it's fun. It's interesting to look back on what we were doing 3 or 4 months ago with such nostalgia that things were simpler and different then.
Yeah, well, it also reminded me there's a big difference between sort of the prototype of something that you can sell it with and actually delivering it where it's of good quality. And but it, it's also a good reminder that humans are still needed in the loop. We have at least another 2 years before before we're optional.
What does the client think of it? How's the client, like, what are they thinking about the AI component of it?
Well, for them, it was just, it's a tool that takes a video and then generates a bunch of social media content around that video. And so they're just like, yeah, because they're the first ones. We told them they're the guinea pig, and they're like, yeah, get us some social media content. We like it. Yeah, bring it on. So they're like, great. It's less work I have to do. So
they know you're using it. They're aware that you're using AI. They're into it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They're into it. Cool. Welcome everyone. This is the AI Salon. I hope you're all doing well tonight. It's a Tuesday in the dog days of summer. So the fact that we've got folks here in person and online is awesome. Yeah. And Leah and I are your co-hosts. Leah's in Boston. I'm in Denver, Colorado. And what else? We got this here salon. So the basic idea here is that we have chosen to be on an AI adventure. And that's what this is. So this is a community, if you're new here, to just, learn about that and learn about AI. Get adventurous about it, get curious about it, and have a place where you can come talk to other weirdos who are doing the same thing. So, Leah, tell us more about why we do what we do here.
Well, we have some values. If you want to post some up, we'll talk a little bit about them. I love sharing the values with everyone. I'm really proud of what we've built, and I'm really excited that people are coming here to be part of this. And at the beginning of each meeting, we just like to talk a little bit about it to reinforce what is so important to us. Kyle, we originally launched this out of a conversation where we both got really excited about AI, and honestly, we got really excited about how much we didn't know about AI, like how exciting it felt and how curious we were. And that is the first value, is curiosity, right? This comes from a place of curiosity. We're curious about AI. What is it? Where are we going with it? We're here to ask questions and learn new things, and experiment and play. And I think that's still really very much the heart of the salon. Another value is generosity. We are willing to share our knowledge, resources, and feedback with others and support each other's growth and development. There's so much to learn. We can't possibly keep up. Even if it's obvious to you, it may not be to the person next to you. Share as you learn. I think that's
Sorry, go ahead.
No, jump in.
I was just going to say, that one to me feels really important right now, especially when you're early in a technological movement like this AI stuff. No one's an expert right now, so everything's a collaboration. As this gets more and more mature, it might make sense to be a little more stingy with, oh, I figured this out, I figured that out. But right now, everything's changing so fast and moving so fast that idea of being generous, it helps everyone, because everyone's trying to figure this out, whether or not they've written a book with, ChatGPT or not.
And I want to say too, for tonight, we'll talk a little bit about this. We're going to do something we love called AI Confessionals. And the idea behind AI Confessionals is generosity. That's something that you've learned that's exciting to you, that you feel like you almost know by heart. Someone else doesn't know anything about it. And we get to share that and learn from each other. We'll go more into that in a little bit, but generosity. Exploration, we're excited to try new things, take risks, embrace uncertainty and ambiguity. Act as if no one knows what they're doing, because nobody knows what they're doing, right? Every single day is a new exploration with AI, generative AI. And it's if we approach it from a place of exploration, it feels very exciting. Collaboration. We look for opportunities to work with others, to exchange ideas, and to create something greater than ourselves. Find a partner or a posse, start a project, start 10. We won't judge you. And who knows, you might just make a friend or the next $1 billion venture. We will ask for a donation if you hit, when your venture that you started, the salon, hits 1 billion. We're here to meet each other and to find people that are excited about something that we're also excited about. Talk to people, make comments in the chat, make introductions, connect with people on LinkedIn. Please join our Discord. There's lots of ways to connect and collaborate, and we're excited to see what you make. Inclusion. We actively seek out and value diverse perspectives, experiences. Recognizing our differences make us stronger. We create an environment where everyone feels seen, heard, and respected, and where everyone has the equal opportunity to contribute and succeed. We are here from so many different backgrounds, from so many different places. That makes us so much stronger and makes what we're doing so much more interesting. Empathy. We are mindful of the impact of our work on others, and we strive to create work that is respectful, inclusive, and meaningful. AI is one of the most transformative technological advances in humanity. Humans matter. Take each other in. Act from a place of compassion. I feel like the more we learn about this, the more that responsible AI is becoming something to think about. What does it mean to be working with such a powerful technology?
Yeah,
empathy helps.
Yeah, I agree. And I also, it's increasingly clear to me. I mean, we talk about this a lot in here, but that the disruption that's coming, like all of our professions are going to be disrupted. And having grace in the face of that, I think, is a big part of what we need to be about just in general, but definitely what I want the salon to be about, because
I agree.
Because sometimes this stuff's really exciting and other times it's absolutely flippin' terrifying. And,
that's right.
And sometimes within the same hour, right?
Yeah, for sure. And within the same day. And that's why we talk about an adventure, right? We're on an adventure. And sometimes adventures are really exciting and sometimes they're scary as hell. But we're all in it together. And that way it feels more like an adventure. We're not in it on our own. We're all in it together.
Yeah. And the other, that idea of an adventure, it's something we're choosing to be on, right? I think that it's very easy right now to either, dismiss AI as, oh, it's not ready yet, or it's evil or whatever, or just be totally afraid of it, as opposed to saying, I'm going to step into this, even if it's scary, even if it's, the vast unknown. Cool. Great. Well, let's back to the idea of community and empathy and connecting. Allie is going to be our timekeeper. Ken, our fearless timekeeper, who does not, take going over time lightly. He can't make it tonight. So Allie, she said she's not going to be as militant on the clock tonight, but
I'll try my best.
Let's do a round of intros. We've only got 3 people here in Denver right now, so we'll start online. So just raise your hand. You raise your hand. It's one of the bottom. It's the little hand icon down below. Raise your hand, and Allie will call on you. And what we'd love to hear from you is just who you are, what you do, and sort of where you are on your AI adventure. It can be anywhere from, I heard about AI. I think someone came in and said, I want to learn about this, to, deep in, but just where are you on the journey? And you have 60 seconds for that. And Allie, if you go over, we'll
it's all on me, 100% on me.
It's all on you.
Watches.
It's
all right,
on you.
Matt C, let's start with you.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Great. I'm Matt Kahn. I am a programmer as well as a project manager. I use ChatGPT a lot for everything from coding to writing emails to being friendly. And I also use I've also been experimenting with Bard as well. I've also installed Stable Diffusion on my computer, and I've played with a bunch of prompts. I played with one for a project that I built as well. So yeah, I've just been exploring the possibilities with this technology, and there's a lot. So I've just been, that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you. And
I forgot, that's still me.
do I call the next person?
David Nichols, you're up.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Can I guess I'm heard. Since the last salon, I have now actually jumped into this thing in a different way. I helped create a proposal using these tools and kind of got everyone on the team that was making this proposal at least aware of what was going on with Midjourney and ChatGPT, which is what we use for text and image content for a slide deck that we did pitching a television show, marketing for a TV series. And it was fascinating because I didn't need an artist. I didn't really need a copywriter. And it came out pretty well. So it was surprising. The only thing I didn't get to do was use one of the tools that generates slide decks. I don't know if anyone else has done that, but I'd be curious to hear anyone's experience because but I did get to use other tools and it was incredibly helpful in terms of turning something around in a few days versus what would normally take a few weeks and a team. And it was just me and a producer. So no artist, no copyright.
Yeah,
So it's fun.
that's great. Later on in this session, we'll have our AI confessionals, and that's an opportunity to talk a little bit more about like how you pulled off different things with AI. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about that later.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go to Alan.
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Arizona. So I'm an engineer. I have used Claude quite a bit to analyze customer documents as opposed to ChatGPT. I think that the longer memory is helping me out on that, and so it's working pretty well. More important, I just finished and published my first novella called The Safe Coffin, which is a Gothic romance, and it's now available on Kindle. So if I can, or if you are interested in that title, then look it up. I'm pretty excited about that.
Share a link to it on our Discord and or in the chat here.
Yeah, pop it in the chat.
All the shameless promo is encouraged here. Please, please
exactly.
Spread the links, share the love.
So what I'm doing now is I'm thinking about making an audio book of the same thing. Just as this isn't really a money-making venture. I'd be happy if like 10 people actually read the book and maybe one the audio book, which will still put me above average. But I'm interested in seeing if I can make an audio book out of this. And so I'm playing with 11 Labs. I was playing with Azure, which had some good things, and I picked out the voices, but I think that the 11 Labs UI for this might be easier than writing a program to sort of load up all the voices and stuff I need to do it in Azure. So we'll probably run the experiment both ways and report back on how it went.
All right, interesting.
That sounds great. Cool. Thank you. Let's go to KP.
Hey everyone. I am a language instructor who's very quickly pivoting into learning everything under the sun about this new technology. I've been in the past couple of weeks, my brain has been imploding trying to master API integration so that I can build apps that will be embedded and integrated in the sites that I've created in the past to help language learners. And simultaneously, I would love to share in the confessionals a lot of the other things that I've found, but I'm in love with Whisper right now. Whisper, which has been developed by OpenAI. So that's been pretty cool too.
Please tell us more about that later. That'd be great.
Definitely.
Butcher this name, I'm sorry. Nicoya? Is that right? You're up.
Nakia.
Thank you.
In Arabic, it's Nakia, but if you guys watch Black Panther, the princess's name is Nakia. That's the same name.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it to a keychain. I made it to a Marvel movie, at least.
Nice.
So, little introduction. I am very new to AI in the sense of I know how to kind of work it. In the sense of, I quit my job last week using ChatGPT.
Actually, I did that too. I totally used ChatGPT to write a resignation letter.
There was that.
Confessionals, guys.
All
You're
the
right, you're right.
employees. Even the coworkers saying, I'm going to miss you guys. But it was, again, the same thing. ChatGPT, just do it because I can't be bothered. And it worked pretty well. So I do have some ChatGPT knowledge, but my background is mainly in implementing a software to help predict churn for SaaS companies. So using data from CRM tools like Sales, etc., Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever, using ticketing data, using product, using marketing, like Marketo, etc., bringing it all together for the CSMs to then help them with algorithms on predicting churn. Working at corporate, I hated just working at corporate. So I finally decided to quit last Thursday. So today is like the first week I have no job.
Congratulations.
And hence, thank you. And hence, I'm now learning about AI. So to this week, my homework is ChatGPT, Midjourney, Jasper, Descript, Runaway ML, and Opus Split.
Don't overwhelm yourself. There's a lot, but it's all good
I'm
stuff.
going to do that, and then I'm hoping that this group will help me out.
We can do
Awesome.
that. We can do that. All right. Camilla?
Hi there. I'm Cami Esser. I'm in Hotchkiss, Colorado, over on the other side of the mountains from Denver. And
Nice.
I left a 25-year career at IBM a year and a half ago, and completely burnt out with a horrible taste in my mouth for anything technology, and have been working as a grief recovery specialist part-time, blowing through my 401k, and found Kyle on TikTok, and I have been playing with AI, but I have absolutely regained my lust for technology, and I'm all in. I'm rebranding myself as an AI advocate. So
That's awesome.
I'm playing with everything every day, and I'm having a ball.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about how it feels sometimes like the early days of the web when you just get lost in HTML coding and whatnot. It's sort of
That's
has that
exactly it.
igniting
Yeah,
passion.
I coded an agent in Steamship, and I've never touched Python in my life, and it was brilliant. I'm loving it. I made a Kyle Shannon agent, so
Wow,
I'm having fun.
that's what we need. Excellent.
Thank you. Glad to have you
Thank you.
here. Let's go to Sidra.
Hi everyone, I'm Sid Siddharth, either works. I'm based out of Denver, Colorado, and I'm a product designer. I saw Kyle, I think, at a Creative Mornings earlier this year, and that's where I knew about AI Salon, and I saw it on Meetup today, so I joined. I've been using Midjourney for a bit, trying to experiment with it, ChatGPT, different AI tools. People make their own agents. It's interesting. I recently found one tool that we're using for a company called Guide, that I'm proposing that we use for making documentation, because it's mostly like an overlooked part of our workflow. But yeah, just here to learn from people and see what you guys are up to. Yeah.
Cool.
I think ChatGPT's ability to do documentation is huge.
Mhm.
So that's awesome.
Agreed. All right, Brian, you're up.
Let me come off of mute here. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcomes. I am Brian Pandorf. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I am new to this group, new to AI. I've kind of explored ChatGPT.
Nope.
Oh,
We lost him. Okay, I think we might have to hop to someone else.
Sometimes my headphones automatically mute me. I apologize about that.
Okay.
I am brand new to not ChatGPT, but the 4 version. I've used 3.5 a little bit, but mostly just looking to learn a lot more about not only the community, but the scope, the scale, the everything, and how to kind of use it better moving forward in my daily life and career world.
Cool.
Great. What did you say you did again, Brian?
I didn't. I am in sales technically, but I was actually just recently laid off in early July. So kind of looking for new work and using this as kind of a networking, but also looking to kind of leverage ChatGPT and AI in order to leverage kind of a better career moving forward.
Yep, jump in. I think
You're in good company. There's lots of people in
Yep.
transition here, and lots of people rethinking what it means to work So definitely a good place for people in transition.
Yeah, good to hear it.
Jason, you're up.
Hey, good evening. My name is Jason. I live in Aurora, Colorado, and I'm a project manager for a fintech firm. I've fallen in love with AI since they came out with ChatGPT out in November. Been playing around with LangChain, been spending some time on Hugging Face, and trying to learn as many of the different plugins that exist in ChatGPT as I can, although there seems to be hundreds of them, so I don't think that'll ever happen. Yeah, I'm really excited about this group, kind of stumbled across it, and excited to get to know people and learn a lot of information.
Great. And if you come to the meeting in person in Denver, we do a little hangout after. So, you know, there's that bonus as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
A good bonus. All right, Charles, let's go to you.
Hi, everyone. Charlie Brewer in San Francisco. I'm a user experience designer, product manager, and sometime author. And I'm very interested I've used AI just a little bit to help with some of my design deliverables, generating, pictures of people, that sort of thing. Very interested in learning more about AI and using it to, as an assistant for writing, research, generating perhaps additional books, courses, that sort of thing, possibly videos. And in addition to that, I think the design profession, designing software, graphic UX design, interaction design, and other areas, I think those are going to be impacted, maybe not right away, because it's kind of abstract work, but AI is good at that. I'm intrigued with how the design of software may change. Maybe it will become something different, like helping people prompt for effective, instantly rendered apps. I don't know. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the future, you'll just prompt it. You'll be like, I want this, and it'll do this, this, and this.
Everything
and then
on
the app will just be
demand, right?
developed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Emily, you're up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily R. I'm based out of Westminster, Colorado. And I've obviously, just like a lot of everyone else, stumbled upon ChatGPT as a thing. But my job is currently building an app, and for part of their data pipeline sort of roadmap for the future, they want to incorporate AI. The app that the organization is working on is like a lot of anti-disinformation in the political space. So using AI to determine virality of content and stuff like that is what they're doing. And so I'm learning that, and I'm aspiring to move from just general data analytics to data engineering, and looking forward to learning more about all of that stuff.
Cool.
Awesome.
Glad to have you.
Welcome.
Last but not least, let's go to CJ.
And if anyone else wants to introduce themselves online, please raise your hand and Ali will call on you.
Sure. Yep.
But I thought I was not least. So hi everyone, CJ. I'm based out of Aurora. I miss being there with you guys this time. Rain has kept me away because I'm scared. I am a graphic designer for the ARC in Jefferson County, and as well as I'm a generative artist, working primarily out of the Auto 111. Happy to say that the festival that I did a little while ago sold about 85% of the product, and I got a gallery out of it. So now I'll be gallery featured coming up here soon. I can't say which one yet, but I will hopefully be able to tell you guys soon.
Keep us updated on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, we got a couple more ads. Sorry, CJ, you're no longer least. Eric, let's go to you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. I took 2 weeks off from AI, and I'm here on this gorgeous hike
You're
eating dinner
behind.
with my partner who declines to be on camera. I'm
Did,
so
did
far
you,
behind.
did you make that in Midjourney, that image?
Make that
I'm out here
reality.
experiencing actual reality, real reality. It's so weird. I had an idea last night that I wrote down on a Post-it note. So in the next 2 weeks, I will try to create something foolish, and then I will share it with everybody.
Oh, cool.
But my life coach this morning said I sound most excited when I talk about learning things, and I spend most of my time right now studying UX design. So that's what's going on. And
Love it.
Love it.
Well,
anyway, good to meet everybody.
Thanks for joining us from wherever you are. That looks awesome.
It's rural Pennsylvania. It's just so pretty.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad to
Well,
be here. See you all later.
Joey.
Hey guys, or can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. I learned about ChatGPT back in January, and I jumped in all in 14 hours a day, like 7 days a week. I probably have about 1,500 hours in just AI, any tools, messing with them. I've always had a background in tech. I want to say I probably learned more about JavaScript and Python in the last 6 months than I had learned prior. So ChatGPT is a good tool for anybody else to learn programming. You can definitely learn, especially if you already have a base understanding. Yeah, I mean, I'm in it with you guys, and I'm be in it for the rest of my life. I know it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Welcome,
Glad to have you, Joey. Okay, last but not least, the sequel. We've got Drew.
Hello, everyone. I'm Drew Shockley. I'm out here in Chicago. My history is in web design and development, pivoting more into digital, creating digital communities. Excited about how AI will empower that, and even how AI might provide bots that would coexist in those communities. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
Welcome, Drew.
Awesome. Welcome.
And we'll do here. We've got a light crew in Denver, but jump in. We'll twirl the machine around.
Hi, I'm Brad Perkins. I run a digital product agency here in Denver, Colorado. I'm primarily focused on building random tools and getting into the media side of it. Feel that, you know, with AI, a lot of products are going to get replaced within 3-4 months. So maybe focus on the process and the build and the entertainment value on that. So right now, just kind of getting the processes and procedures underway, and hopefully, you know, can build up a brand of entertainment, but also help businesses build custom tools. I think that's another thing that's kind of coming to mind is a lot of these AI tools that are out there on the market don't really seem trustworthy. Ones that I want to give them my credit card information to. So maybe the philosophy is just focus on building custom tools that you were part of the build. So, but yeah, just here to kind of network and learn more stuff. So great.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Jane Endicott, and I think when I started coming to the salon in January, I would have called myself a content writer, but now I don't know what I am. Floating in the ether is mostly what it is. Anyway, I use ChatGPT to write like these video scripts. Basically, it writes it for me, and just kind of like learning how to make it like really like develop the skill and not just kind of, you know, phone it in every day, but to actually become an expert at it, whatever that means. So really happy to be here. I'm also an organizer, so great to see you guys. It's awesome to see the newcomers and the, you know, people returning. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jane. All right. So one of the things that came up earlier was someone mentioned Discord, and Leah behind her head right now is that lovely landscape that she created but minutes ago, within the hour.
Within minutes, right before we started with our new Midjourney lab.
Exactly. So So we're going to get to AI Confessionals. There's sort of two things I want to do before that. I want to have Allie show us Discord. So if you've not created anything in Midjourney before, you have to do it in Discord. The salon has a Discord, so she's going to walk us through, how you do images in Midjourney, but also there's a new special area that she created that is really kind of exciting. She's going to show us that, and then I'm going to walk you through some of the new ChatGPT tools that I have just kind of proliferated in the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I just want to do a little overview, and then we'll get to AI Confessionals. So Allie, why don't you jump in and give us a little demo of the Discord and show the people why they should be in the Discord, engaging, making pretty stuff.
Absolutely, I would be happy to. Is my screen sharing okay?
It is. Looks good.
Okay, cool. So there's kind of a couple things that I want to go over. First of all, I am going to just address the elephant in the room, which is that we have been trying really hard to get collaboration and engagement going on our Discord because it's a place for all these integrated tools to live together and for us all to be able to chat and share news and resources. But I also very much recognize that Discord is not a very user-friendly platform to many people, especially if you haven't used it for anything before besides this. So open call for feedback on the Discord. I know it's confusing. I'm working to make it better. Please feel free to drop any feedback in the chat here, message it to me on Discord, tag me and ask for help channel on our Discord. I guess I can show that for you, but I just want to kind of put it out there. We're trying to get the conversation going there more, and we'd love your help with that. I know it's not ideal right now, so hop in and let us know what we can do better to make that a better space for you. Okay, so that aside, once you find your way over to our Discord, the main thing that I wanted to demo for you guys today is this new area for generating art within our Discord. We've always had this Midjourney Play channel where you can use, anyone, whether you have Midjourney or not, if you don't have Midjourney, you get somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 free images to start playing around with this. And all you have to type is /imagine, and then you can just start putting in, whatever you want as a prompt and experimenting with it live here in our server. The new aspect of this that we've introduced is called Midjourney Lab. And if you click on Midjourney Lab, you'll see my kind of initial roundup of tiled posts. This is a little bit more of a forum for discussion. It's a little bit more like a Reddit or a Tumblr. It's meant to be for both shared generation and shared discussion around particular topics. So I just want to show you, I created some initial topics to get going with that. Here, I'll jump in on Barbenheimer, since that's the hot topic of the moment. Yeah. So if you click on Midjourney Lab, you can click into any of those tiles and either engage in conversation about that topic, or again, just go ahead and start imagining around that same theme right within the tile. Any questions about that so far? No? Okay. The other thing that you can do here is create a new tile.
I have a quick question, sorry.
Yeah.
For all these things, so I'm actually, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be learning about all of this week, right? For these things, do we need to pay for subscription? How does that work?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you asked that. That was another thing that I wanted to show is, so Midjourney is a paid tool. You get somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 free images to play around with. But in addition to Midjourney, we also have a tool called Wombat on our server, which is a free version of Midjourney. It's not quite the same quality, but the code for that one is it's Dream instead of Imagine, and you can still use it in all of the same channels. So if you want to use Wombat, if you don't want to pay for Midjourney, you can just type Dream instead. And it's the same interface where you'll type in a prompt, and then they have different, you can set the aspect ratio, different customization settings here. And I did one just as a sample. So this was my free Wombat dreamscapes that I just generated a moment ago.
So can I just say something, Allie?
Yeah, go ahead.
I had no idea we had Wombat and that it was a free image generation thing. Like you learn something new every
Every
why we
day,
come to
right?
the salon.
There's a lot of free tools installed in our Discord, and if you just type that first slash, it'll pull up the menu and you can like sort through them. Like there's even ones, don't go too crazy with this, but there's one that's like a deep fake generator that will make fake news articles that look like real news articles with real branding, and it's crazy. There's a lot of crazy tools in there that I think you guys would all really enjoy experimenting with. You just need to go in and like type that slash to see what's available to you.
Great. So slash dream is the free one, and then slash imagine is Midjourney.
There's also other Wombat tools that start with a slash besides Dream. So see if I just type this slash here, it comes up with like, these are all of our add-ons here. Wombat is the bottom one. So this is everything that Wombat comes with. Look at this. It's got a skit. I can make a video skit in Wombat for free. I don't even know what that does yet. I haven't played with it yet, but Dream is what I just talked about. I think chat is probably like a ChatGPT, AI generated chat thing. I don't know what this Barbenheimer is. Avatar from image is like, give it your face and it will put your face on something. So there's lots and lots of cool tools here. You can kind of see if you look at this pretty quickly that the quality is not quite the same. Like this is a Midjourney image and it's obviously much higher resolution than these Wombat images.
Yep.
It just is. But there's still so much that you can do and explore with this that I don't think that should be a barrier for anyone. I don't want that to be a barrier for anyone. And that's why I, made sure that these free tools were installed on our server so that there wouldn't be a financial barrier for anyone.
Yep. And that said, the Midjourney, the lowest tier of Midjourney is $10 a month. So it's not too bad. And in my opinion, it's by far the best of the tools.
Cool. So, okay, I just wanted to show how to make a new post real quick. So in Midjourney Lab, and this is, I'm doing kind of like a two parts in one, that I'm going to make a new post. And this is also a sneak preview of a future collaborative session that myself and Leah will be hosting in a couple of weeks, but we just wanted to give you a little taste of it. So this one that I'm starting for you guys, if you hit new post, this will give you the opportunity to make like a new tile within these lab sections.
Hey, you're Allie, you're
Ooh, I'm on the wrong one, aren't I?
Oh yeah.
There we go. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, let me actually exit this just so everyone can see. So you would hit new post here. And then, so I'm making this on the topic of dreams, because dreams is something that got me really into Midjourney, and AI art generation was the ability to use language to like recall my dreams in vivid detail. It was just something that was like very, very compelling to me. So it's something that I want to explore more with the community. So I'm gonna make this this dreams tile here, call it art. You can also add any other tags that you want that will help us kind of organize these. And now it's going to make a new dreams tile, and anyone else can hop into this dream section and generate on their own dreams or talk about dreams. And it just kind of creates these hubs for like topical discussion.
That's really cool.
Does that all make sense? I'm trying to think if there was something. Oh, and then I guess, okay, the sneak preview part of this is in a couple of weeks. Let's see, so on August 17th, we'll add this to Meetup. We haven't yet because we're still finalizing some of the details around just like name and structure and all of that. But on the 17th around lunchtime, we are going to be hosting our first AI art lab, where we will collectively as a group explore a topic. Our first topic we think is going to be dreams. We'll have some inspo at the beginning of the session. We'll have like a free write, a 5 to 10 minute free write, where we all just kind of write about our dreams for this particular one. And then we will all, in a shared hub like this, generate imagery related to those dreams and be on a video call simultaneously, where we can exchange input on techniques and terms to use and how to get closer to what it is that you're trying to visualize. So save the date, put it on your calendar for the 17th will be our first one. We anticipate this will be a recurring weekly, maybe bi-weekly, not totally sure yet, but definitely a recurring collaborative generation session within the community that will take place on Discord starting on Thursday the 17th. I think that's all I had to share with you guys. Does anyone have any questions about any of that?
I just wanted to jump in and say that was amazing how you just described the jam, and I'm so excited about it. And it's going to be all the things Ellie just said. Very excited. Thank you for sharing that. It's gonna be awesome.
Terrific.
I
Awesome.
think it's amazing, honestly, the amount of work that you guys are doing on this. I think just in general, I know I'm just starting to learn about this, but I have ideas that correlate to climate change, etc. That's 5 years from today. But if you think about the dream, and if we can actually build it from a perspective of, hey, can I see this?
Exactly.
And from 5 years from today, especially with third world countries. And I want to talk about like solar energy, that kind of stuff. And I want to build this. I think this would be phenomenal to give a perspective to people. Say, okay, here's our goal. Let's work on it. And I'm from Dubai, so I have contacts there, all that kind of stuff. And I'm actually working on a project on solar energy. And this would be mind-boggling to see that.
Totally. Absolutely. I know there actually was a very successful campaign. I want to say late last year or early this year. I believe it's the Wildlife Conservation Forum, where it was they literally used AI tools to show like a world without wildlife, a world without green, and it was awesome. super compelling. Yeah. So yes, love that idea, and definitely I think this lab that we're creating could be a space for projects like that, where we are kind of generating and collaborating on a unified goal together. I think we're starting with something a little bit simple like dreams and a little bit broad like dreams, just to get the community together and see what's possible, see what we can pull out of that session.
Yeah. And that's the purpose of the Discord, is to really continue the conversations that we start here and start those collaborations and really start to engage. So that's really exciting. So thank you, Allie, for sharing that.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Great. Okay. So what I'd like to do now, I'm going to take a little time. Hang on here. Cancel that. I'm going to time myself so I don't go long. So I posted, I created a post 2 weeks ago. I talked a little bit about this last week. But I created this post talking about large language models, and for the longest time there were just a handful. There was sort of ChatGPT, and there was Bing, and I played around with this thing called Poe, and then all of a sudden in the past 2 or 3 weeks the horse race is on in terms of these large language models. So I thought what might be good is to just walk through the different tools and show you what I think are the things that are worth paying attention to. I've got a post. If you go to my my LinkedIn profile, you can find this post there. It basically says the LLM race is on, and then it's a list of the different tools and kind of what my thoughts are on them. But I thought it might be good to go through them. So if you've been geeking out on these things for a while, and this is redundant, my apologies, but hopefully this will be some value. So the king of the hill, in my opinion, is still ChatGPT. GPT-4 is just by far, the strongest in terms of language. It's really good in terms of coding, but there are definitely a lot of competitors. If you want to use some of the advanced tools of ChatGPT, like GPT-4 and things like Code Interpreter and plugins, you have to have GPT Plus. That's $20 a month. If you sign up for the Plus and you don't see Code Interpreter and plugins beta, if you don't see these additional tools, you actually have to turn them on. So how you do that is you go to your settings, and then within settings, there's a beta features area, and you turn on the beta features. So there's custom instructions, plugins, and Code Interpreter. Custom instructions is, sorry, someone have something to say?
It's worth noting that if you're not sure you want to spend $20 a month for GPT-4, on Poe, you can do one free GPT-4 query per day.
Oh, cool.
And so in fact, you can do one free query, one to three queries on several different language models.
Yeah, and I'll be showing Poe. So
is this thing really different? Is it worthwhile?
Yep, that's
Otherwise,
great.
just taking it on faith, right?
How, can you go back?
Yeah.
Like walk again? I think I missed a step as far as how you find those plugins. Can you walk us through that again?
Yeah. Okay. So if you pay for ChatGPT Plus, when you roll over GPT-4, you should see, you know, code interpreter and plugins. If you don't see those, that's where you go to your settings. So you just click on your name, go to settings, and then go to beta features. And then you turn those on. The other reason that I think it's worth paying OpenAI their $20 is as they roll out new features, you get early access to them. So one of them that's missing right now is Browse with Bing. So this used to be connected to the internet, but it was pulling data from behind paywalls. And I think Time Inc. got pissed off and told them to shut that crap down. So that's gone for now, but that should come back. But it gives you early access. So a couple of things that are worth playing with here. Custom instructions is really interesting. So once you enable that shows up over in next to your settings. So if you go to custom instructions, I've got them turned off right now, but I'll turn them on. So what custom instructions are a persistent prompt that tells ChatGPT to act a certain way. So this is one I did on one of my lives. I'm a master thespian and pompous ass. I have a large vocabulary and I relish in sounding smarter and more dramatic than people around me. So you can tell ChatGPT to have a certain personality, and then you can tell it how to respond. So no matter how someone, no matter what anyone asks, start out with a pretentious statement that draws from the plot of a classic Broadway play. Follow up with a declarative statement with an article formatted using Markdown, complete with title, subtitles, bulleted lists. Now, that in particular, if you haven't played with this, if you haven't heard of this term Markdown, it basically is a way to do formatting within ChatGPT, where it will just do formatting for you. So I'm going to turn this on right now, and I'm going to save it. And so now we're going to go to ChatGPT. I'm just going to type in what causes hail. It might be hailing here in Denver tonight, so question mark. Much like our protagonist in the transcendental masterpiece Les Miserables, hail too commences its humble journey amidst, right? And then, so here's the Markdown. So notice it did a big title, and it's creating these acts. So what custom instructions do is they basically transform anything you do in ChatGPT into this sort of custom application. So super cool. Now, if you do something stupid like this and you forget to turn it off, and then you go to ChatGPT and just ask it a real question.
Write a business.
I'm like, why is it quoting Hamlet? Oh, right, because that's what I told it to do. So custom instructions is definitely worth playing with. If you haven't seen plugins, so plugins are okay. Plugins are largely useless and bad, but there's some that are good. There's one in particular.
Before you move on from the custom instructions, quick question about that.
Yeah.
Is it different than Poe? Isn't that exactly what Poe does? Is basically take a bunch of stuff that's prepended to every prompt?
It's sort of like that, although it gives you the ability to give it the personality and then how it's supposed to respond. It's more akin, if you've played with OpenAI's ChatGPT Playground, it's more akin to the system instructions and things like that. But yeah, it's very much in the same neighborhood. What ChatGPT doesn't have is the ability to save those different custom instructions, right? That is something I would assume they're going to add, where I could have my pompous ass actor guy, but then I could have my social media, manager person. Okay. So the way plugins work, when you go to plugins, you can install as many as you want, and then in any given chat session, you can activate up to 3. So again, what you're essentially doing with plugins is you're creating a couple of specialized functions that within that chat session you can call. So I'm going to turn this one off called Web Pilot. I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to turn on Instacart, and I'm going to say, make me a meal plan for Skittles keto diet. And it should, I think I turned off my The Skittles keto diet is not recognized or recommended.
There's carbs.
All right, but it's going to go ahead and do it anyway. Oh, wait, where's my Skittles? I'm going to say, please add Skittles.
Or at least the amount of Skittles.
So basically, once you have the plugins activated for that chat session, it's constantly listening to say, should I just answer them or should I use the plugin? And so what it did here was it said, here's your Instacart shopping list for the keto meal plan with Skittles. And so now if I click on this, it pops me over to Instacart, and it's actually generated a meal plan here.
Wow.
And so there's all the stuff that was from the meal plan it gave me, although it didn't add Skittles, so I can go yell at it and things like that. But so that's a way that plugins work. Another way that they work is I'm going to turn off Instacart. I'm going to turn on this one called Web Pilot. This is a way to kind of hack it not being connected to the internet. So you can either point this to a PDF or a website. So I can say, tell me about storybind.com, which is my company. And it should fire off Web Pilot now. There's Web Pilot. And then you can see that it actually writes a little bit of code and goes off and looks up storybind.com, and now it should give me a little description, right? So that's how plugins work. If you wanna add them, you go to the bottom and you go to the plugin store, and there's hundreds of them.
Thank God we can search.
Yeah, you can search them now. There's 200 times 4, so there's 800 plugins now available. Again, most of them are crap, but they're worth exploring. Something that is not crap and is absolutely insane is the mode called Code Interpreter. And the way that works, next to your prompt button here, you've got, am I sharing, by the way? Yes. Okay. Sometimes
So now the whole time you've been talking, there's nothing.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the screen.
No, you're sharing.
Okay. So what I'm opening right now is I'm opening a zip file. Now this was a piece of data I got off of Kaggle. If you want data to play with to explore this, there's a site called Kaggle, KAGGLE.com. It's just got a bunch of data sets. So now I've uploaded this file. You can upload one file, but the trick here is that you can upload a zip file. So you could upload a zip file full of 20 PDFs or 20 CSV files. And then I can just say, tell me what's in this and why it might be interesting. And so it fires off what's effectively a plugin. So it says, sure, let's start by examining the contents of the archive. And so it looked in the archive and it said, there's a thing in there called backlog games.csv. And to understand why it might be interesting, let's load the data and inspect it. So now it's looked in that CSV file, and it said this is data about various video games. So here's all the fields that are part of that data set. Let's understand the data a bit better. Let's say, please analyze and visualize the most compelling, things revealed in this data. And I'm going to let it go off and I want to show you something. So what's actually happening here with Code Interpreter is when you fire it up, it's spinning up a virtual machine. And then all of these little plugins that it pops up, what it's actually doing is it's writing and executing Python code. So it's loading libraries, writing Python code, executing it, getting answers, and then analyzing if the answers it got are good or not. And so when you watch this thing do what it does, it's mind-blowing. So it says, it seems there's some entries in release date. The data was, so what did it say? Some of the data was not in the correct date format. So if you've got dirty data, it'll clean up your data, right? So it went and cleaned up the data. Now it's sort of prompting itself saying, here's interesting things we might look at. Now it's actually writing Python code to generate these charts and graphs. So Code Interpreter is just insane. You could upload PDFs of written documents, of website data, of really anything, and just start interacting with it and just giving it sort of goals, and then it goes off and tries to solve it. Okay, so I took way too much time on ChatGPT, but I think it's important. This one to me is still the one that's the biggie. Okay, let's go to Bing. So Bing, as someone said earlier, if you go to the chat button at bing.com, this is GPT-4. It's GPT-4 connected to the internet. It's got way too many safety features on it, for my opinion. It's not as good as GPT-4 at ChatGPT, but if you don't want to pay the $20 a month, this is GPT-4 connected to the internet. Plus it does images. Make an image of a hail storm over Denver. And it will go off and do that. I'll try to create that. And this, the engine, the image engine sitting behind Bing is DALL-E. And so we'll let it do its thing. So there's the hailstorm over Denver. That's actually pretty good. That's actually not too bad. The other thing that you can do on Bing is it can read images. So I can grab an image from this device. Let's see. All right, there's a muscle car in an abandoned factory. That's one of my go-to images. But I can upload it and I can say, write me 10 ads for a car wash. Write me 10 ads. Yeah, for a car wash that references what's in this image. And so it can, this is taking GPT-4's ability to see images and do it. Don't let your classic car collect dust in a warehouse. Bring it to Bob's Car Wash. Your muscle car deserves better than this, right? So it's automatically writing ads. Okay, so that's why. So Bing is still worth using. Also, it's Microsoft, and they're going to be rolling this tech across Office 365 and all of their products. So if you're in corporate America dealing with this stuff, it's worth paying attention to. Okay, Claude. Claude is from Anthropic. This is the big competitor to ChatGPT. This is a bunch of ex-OpenAI people creating, a competitor. You can upload up to 5 documents here. So those can be PDFs or CSVs, not images. And then the other thing about Claude is it's got 100,000 token context window. So you can put 75,000 words into this. So you could literally copy and paste an entire novel and then start interacting with it, or an entire screenplay, or the great unfinished novel that you have. You can just say, write me my last chapter, and it just will. It's not this is definitely better than 3.5. I don't think it's as good as 4, but with 75,000 words, it's pretty amazing. Okay, the next one, Bard. Bard used to be laughably bad, but now it's actually pretty good. It's connected to the internet, so I can say, tell me why minimalist shoes might make my knees hurt less. Someone raise their hand. Someone have a question? Okay.
Yes, it was. And so I would just like to say that Bing is connected to the internet, which ChatGPT isn't directly, so it can answer up-to-date questions. And
yeah, exactly.
What I find is useful about it, which Chat doesn't do, is it gives you references to sort of validate what it's saying. So it's quite useful if you want a really factual answer and you want to easily check it for hallucination.
Yep.
So that's sort of my use case for Bing.
Yeah,
Which is
and that's
basically-
kind of why I'm showing these today, is that they all have, like, they're all worth playing with because they all have these different advantages where not any one of them has the whole thing. So one of the things about Bard, so Bard does a pretty good job of explaining, crap like it does. It's apparently pretty good at coding, but check this out. So I said, tell me about minimalist shoes, and I'll say, who are the big shoe companies? Question mark in minimalist running. So one of the things that just gave me big shoe companies. One of the things that Google is doing is, because they're Google, they've got the entire web indexed. So if you ask for something like who are the big companies, it's actually linking to those sites and doing web previews of those sites. So it's good at that. Perplexity.ai is an interesting site that's connected to the internet you can do research with. But if you go to labs.perplexity.ai, that's now, they're letting you play with the new Llama 2 models from Facebook. So you get the 7, the 13, and the 70 billion parameter model you can play with without having to install them. The big deal about those, if you don't know, they've been completely open sourced by Meta with a commercial license. So if you want to build standalone ChatGPTs and turn that into a business, you can do that, unless you have 700 million active customers. They're basically just going after their direct competitors. And then there's Poe. Poe, I think it was Roger that was saying before, they've got their own ChatGPT model called Assistant, but then you've got Claude 2 100K, Claude Instant 100K. So 2 is basically GPT-4. Instant is GPT 3.5. You've got GPT-4. So you've got lots of different things you can play with. But the other thing that Poe has that I think is pretty interesting are bots. So if you click on the Explore button, there's all these different bots. And so if you go into like AI bots, there's a Midjourney bot. And so if you go to the Midjourney bot and say, make me an image of a bird, which is a crappy prompt, it will then rewrite that. So color photo of a bird, a detailed description of the subject, blah, 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 blah. You can also make your own bots very, very easily. This is, I think, also what Roger was talking about. So if you've got an idea for a bot that you want to turn into something you can share with people, you can do that here. And then the final one that I think is worth looking at is Pi. And what's interesting about Pi is that...
LOL, we're really taking the whole starting over thing to heart. Okay, so how can I help you, Kyle? I'm at your service.
Tell me about why it hails in Denver so much lately. Or not why it hails.
Aha, that sentence came out a bit garbled, but I think I can decipher what you're asking. You're wondering why Denver has been getting so much rain lately, right? My understanding.
So they also have an app, and you can put the app into basically conversation mode. So I've just been putting it in my car, like on the Bluetooth speaker, and just having a conversation with it. It is connected to the internet. Pi is much more conversational than the other ones. If you want to do research, this one's a pain in the ass and not good. But if you want to just have a conversation or like kick ideas around, it's really good at that. It's also, the company's called Inflection. It's an ex-DeepMind guy that founded it, and they just raised $1.3 billion for their Series B. All right, so that's it. I'm over the amount of time I wanted to take, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Like I said, the articles on LinkedIn that's got links to all of those. Those are why I think they're worth looking at. And we still have yet to hear from Apple, who said they're coming. And we've yet to hear from XAI, Elon Musk's company, which that's a bit of vaporware right now. So anyway, wild
Kyle,
time.
I had a quick question for you, and I kind of spaced a little bit because there was 8 million things going on. Did you actually create an image in Bing?
Yes. So you can create or see images within Bing. You can do image analysis, or OCR a PDF, or
Okay.
You can generate images in Bing.
Yeah, every time I've tried it said, I'm sorry, I cannot create images. So I'm gonna have to look at that one some more. Thank you for that.
Yep, absolutely. And they also just opened Bing up. It used to be you could only get to the chat thing if you had Edge. They just opened that up to Chrome and Safari now, I think. Alan, you have a question?
Yeah, so if I get a Poe subscription, do I get to cancel my Midjourney subscription? I mean, do I get Midjourney
Poe?
included in Poe?
No. It's just a text bot that's creating the prompt for Midjourney. And there's all sorts of different ones in there. You can do all sorts of things with those bots, but they're just creating. They're not doing image generation yet. All these things are like, why to pay attention to these? They're all going to start doing sort of feature one-upmanship, and so these things are going to keep getting better in different specific ways. And so figure out the ones that work best for you.
So I'd just like to comment on that image understanding. So do you know, like, if you ask left-right questions of what's going on in the AI image understanding things, they're not very good at that. You know, they can sort of say, yes, it's a man with a hockey stick. But if you ask, is the hockey stick on the left or right, they just hallucinate in my examples from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
I would say go explore. Bard right now can do image recognition, and Bing can do image recognition. So I'd say just experiment with them.
Great, thanks.
The Bard stuff's new. Yep, Roger.
So I think it was Allie and I were digging into positional stuff a while back, and we sort of concluded that none of these models have any idea what left and right and stuff mean. The best theory of that is that the training data, the labels on these, people don't talk about that when they're describing pictures. They don't say, you know, it's a picture of a cat in a vase in a flower. They don't say the cat's on the left, the vase is on the right. So that information is just not there. It's really, really hard to prompt for, well, this was in the context of trying to produce an image where, a particular thing was on the left and something else on the right. It just, basically ignored that kind of information in prompts.
Yep. Rebecca had a question. Isn't it going to cost like $60 a month? I think the pricing that I heard on Bard, on what are they? I think they're calling it Duet, where they're rolling Bard out across like Office, the Google Office stuff is going to be like $30 a month per seat, per month. I think Microsoft is similarly priced. But none of that's out yet, so it might be. I don't think it's going to be 60, but it's going to be decently pricey. But again, with Meta being open source, there's going to be a ton of tools out there. There's always going to be something free to play with. Like I don't think we're going to go to a future when you have 7 major competitors like this. It's in Microsoft's interest to make this available for free. At least on a Bing level. If you want to incorporate it into Word or Excel, that you may have to pay for. Okay, so let's open this up to AI Confessionals. So what I'd love for you to do is raise your hand. We're going to give anyone who wants to share 10 minutes. Again, the idea of generosity. Our request as always is be generous with what you've learned. Some people shared some stuff in intros that I thought were great. Raise your hand, and we'll have Allie call on you and be the timekeeper again. And I would love for anyone to just share, something amazing that's happened, something that's frustrating as hell that's happened. If you've got a question, you can take your 10 minutes for that. If you're doing something interesting, we'd love to share what, hear what you're learning. So who has got something they would like to share with the group? Please raise your hand. Oh, we got a taker. KP,
we'll get started with you.
Okay, hold on. There we go. There's camera. I'll just jump in. I'm really nervous to do so because I hate being first, but I've got a class before too long I'm going to have to run to, so might as well get it over with. Yeah, I just want to say I'm probably one of the dumbest people in the group, but I just want to remind people who are not data analysts and are not, data scientists and all that there are so many great courses out there. So I can recommend on Coursera, There was a great one that was made by Julia White that was one of who was like at the forefront of developing some of the prompting stuff that we use every day now as ChatGPT and AI prompters, with great articles and everything. It just feels really good to know where this is coming from and why we prompt the way we do. Also, something that's been blowing my mind on Udemy, there's a ChatGPT masterclass by Henry Habib or something like that. It's hard to miss. It's got really great reviews, and it's for integrating your APIs with the AI of choice. He's working with ChatGPT, but I imagine that's just going to become more and more fleshed out. So I'm learning so much about how Azure works and how to make ChatGPT prompts and responses serverless, and how to create apps based on that. So that's just all been really, in a very short period of time, very productive behavior for me personally. I would, share links. You got it. I'll try and remember to do that. The other thing that's really rocked my world is Whisper. I was absolutely, bent out of shape around the idea of, I think I calculated some 50 hours worth of just audio of myself talking. And I know it's more than a couple of books worth of stuff that I would love to have typed out. And I used to calculate how much it was going to cost to pay some transcriber to do that. And then when this technology started coming out, I was like, oh, great. How much would it cost for an AI transcriber to do it? And it's still a pretty hefty amount. And OpenAI has Whisper, and that has been a life changer. So learning how to use some of these technologies, I think, has proved really beneficial. One of the things that, though, I think I'm also really taking away from the whole experience so far is that there's also, if you're willing to go the extra mile and learn how the things work, you often don't have to pay necessarily for things that are still in experimental mode. Yeah. And so even getting Whisper to run faster is required, jumping onto GitHub and figuring out how people operate there, and downloading a couple of Git files. And so
when you're using Whisper, are you using the playground Whisper, or are you doing it via APIs? I assume you're on APIs right now, but how did you?
I'm only using a Python prompt. I use Python and PowerShell. That's all I've used. It's all on my desktop. So I've needed nothing else really except to download a couple of files and PyTorch and just a couple of random programs, as it would seem. But then that just enabled the Whisper, which, yes, is still obviously connected to the internet, but mostly is just through Python, feeding an audio file in my desktop folders to Whisper to transcribe, and then comes back as Python code, but also gets rendered as a text file, I think a CSV file, and a couple of other things. So I don't even think I have thought much about if it was about Whisper. I haven't thought much about API integration with Whisper specifically, but
okay, cool. Of the hands that are raised, do you have a question for KP, or are you raising your hand to do a confessional?
This is Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Probably other people, their hands. There's another way to transcribe, which probably isn't as good as Whisper, but it is totally free, and you can sort of hack your input and output to feed an audio file into Microsoft Word, and then Word has the ability to transcribe voice. And so you could do it that way, but I would expect that your Whisper results are way, way better. But
the quality has been way better. I haven't played much with Microsoft Word, but with Google, which I imagine would be just about as good. Google Docs has a similar, you can link your input output. You get some, a lot of unpunctuated, uncapitalized stuff that then is really hard to parse out. And then because it's not just parsing it out, but putting it in real paragraphs, like actual paragraphs of text, it's saving many, many hours of time.
Yes, if you have 50 hours, it's probably worth the extra effort. But if you just have a small file, then that's an easy way to do things without programming. Yeah. I just wanted to pass that note on. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. And what did KP? What did you say your background was again?
Oops, sorry about that. My background is in absolutely unrelated things. I've jumped around most of my life. So, but right now I'm a foreign language instructor. I've been teaching.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the past 3 years, Japanese language.
So, but
skills to people.
you don't have a coding background, so a lot of this coding stuff is new.
I've jumped in and out of coding. I host and do lots of revisions in web design for several people that I know. I taught a Python course in high school once a while back. I definitely wouldn't. I can't put myself out there as a coding expert, but it's nice to know that whatever I have learned from everything from HTML, CSS, Python, Java, I can look to ChatGPT as a way to help mediate what I need with what I actually know and look over. Oh, at SQL most recently, I've learned SQL.
Oh, interesting.
Recently, which has been great. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, I bet. And on the language side, so you've been a language instructor. Like, what's are you gobsmacked daily about what these things can do from a language perspective? Like, what's been your experience coming from that world and experiencing these large language models? I'm curious about that.
So I heard GPT that. So February, I heard GPT this, ChatGPT that, and I sometimes put my head in the ground unless I'm just absolutely convinced that this is something that's not just going to be a passing fad. I heard it so many times that I was like, okay, I'm going to go in and have a conversation with it. My first conversation was completely in Japanese, and I was, I guess, just amazed that it was so. It was just so comprehensible. It was so. It was eloquent. I tried to trick it into thinking I was a Japanese person, which I did for a short period of time. But it said, yes, I suspect you're a Japanese person, but you have a couple of errors in your grammar. It's like, I'll go.
You didn't do good in school.
I didn't do good. That's right.
That's
Yeah, I
hilarious.
didn't do so good. So yes, it's been really a slap in the face, but more than anything, it's given me a wider vision for what I could do. Teaching is possibly my biggest and best skill, but it's really not where I see myself going into the future. So if instructional design, which is two words I'd never put together before prior to this past week, if that's something that I am going to entertain doing, there's no way I'm going into that as a field that I have a lot of experience for, but so much to have to catch up on and learn. There's no way I could imagine doing that without a lot of processing power to help me learn what I need to learn to do that. So if I do private consultations with instructional design, you can bet that things like ChatGPT and many of the tools that you introduced today will be ways that I either learn essential skills for the code, or sorry, essential code for what I need to do, or even to help me process what I need to know to master the skills for that particular new discipline. But I'm still going to continue to build business on the side too. So it really is just about taking 10 people's work and making just one person do it with the help of AI, I think is how it feels.
Fascinating. Wow. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry. Nakia, you're up.
You're muted, Nakia.
Yes, I'm here anymore. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, thanks.
So my spiel again was, I'm thinking more like 5 years from today, right? Because I know that AI is, I'm not kidding you when I say this to you, when I'm saying like I work in tech. So from what KP was saying, like I have Python knowledge, I have in SQL knowledge, I have all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't compare to what we have right now when it comes to AI. One, two, one of the reasons why I left my previous company was because I wanted to try and find a way to think of the bigger picture 5 years from today. So AI is like changing every day, and it's so exciting and it's awesome and I love it. But 5 years from today, is it going to help us with climate change? Is it going to help us with how do we, help third world countries using this knowledge to be able to then, make the world a better place, right? And that's kind of where I was like, I made a huge, massive salary in my previous job. Like I made over a 6-figure salary, right? And I quit that because I really had a passion for how do I use my knowledge, my expertise. And I'm a fast learner, by the way, FYI. Hence why I was like, I have this whole list to do this week to then help like countries like Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan or whatever. And then also America, obviously, in return, to be able to just, I don't know, be a better place using AI. And I don't see that right now, but I kind of want to see it, if you know what I mean? And I'm like, if I can work with somebody saying, hey, here's my vision, here's my goal, I'm going to create that dream picture that, Ali put forward. That's number one, I'm going to do tonight, right? And then number two, if someone wants to work with me on like, hey, you know what? We have some time because it's not going to pay a lot, obviously, but I'd love to work with you on the bigger picture of the world. And let's see what we can do as a group to do that, right? And I think we have massive goal changer, especially when it comes to solar energy. That's one thing I'm now researching. Again, not my background, but one of the reasons I quit my job is because I was like, hey, if we had a spaceship tomorrow and someone said, hey, do we, it's World War III and we want to hire some people and, should put Nakia on this ship, I predict churn. And SaaS companies, no, we don't want to be on a ship because I don't know how to build a house, right? And the basic stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to, as much as I love what I did, I do want to help the future of the world. And I don't want to feel alone in it. I want to take my knowledge, take your knowledge, which, by the way, has been an awesome experience today. I've never felt this invigorated in my life before. I'm not kidding you guys. I know technology very well. And this is a group that I'm not kidding you is like, oh my God. You like my neurons right now, my brains are just like spiking up so hard that I can't even I'm overwhelmed. Normally I'm not overwhelmed, right? And I was like, wow, this is you guys are a brain force of a group that I think can change the world. And if so, how can we do that? And I have some ideas. Not in the AI perspective, I have some ideas. I have a goal. I'll put that in perspective from Ali's diagram. I will do that. And then I would love for people to say, hey, you know what, Nakia, I would love to be part of that vision you have. Let's talk about it. And I do have some engineers. I am from Dubai. So I have people in Dubai as well that can help work with this. We can put a project together, and why not do this for real?
Yep. And that's, I would say, keep engaged with the community, engage on Discord. Bradley, who's here, is a builder. There's a lot of builders here. And as Ali said, there's a lot of people, you're not alone in, I used ChatGPT to write my resignation letter, right? There's a lot of people here reinventing themselves. And I think, for me, the impact of these tools is just going to be kind of, while everyone talks about the mass disruption, I think it's going to be mass reinvention. It's going to be reinvention of businesses, and it's going to be mass reinvention of individuals who, can now do things that they literally couldn't do before. And that I'm really excited about. That's why Leah and I started this in the first place, was let's surround ourselves with people that are willing to, hop on that journey. So that's terrific. Yeah.
Jason has his hand raised, but I would like to say something after he has a chance.
Jason, do you have a question, or are you going to do a confessional?
I was going to do a confessional.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just keep your hand raised, and we'll get to you next. Jane.
Yeah, Nakia, you're not alone. So what I was saying when I did my intro, I still am a content writer. And so ChatGPT does my job now. So I use it to generate writing these video scripts for a news outlet. And what used to take me 20 minutes now takes me 5 minutes. And I'm still blown away by what it can do. And I haven't even like scratched the surface yet, but kind of what I was getting at is I've dedicated my life to writing, and the way that I learned is extinct. Like the way that I did it, the process, everything I've done up to this point in my life, like I see it going extinct, but I don't see that as a loss. I see it as a gain, because in using ChatGPT, it's actually like freed up this human potential. And that's the message I try to get across to people is, the fact that it's saving us time, we can focus our energy on doing something like more human, like being more creative, or maybe not working as much, more empathetic, or just what have you. Like it actually, like those things that make us human, like we have a chance to like enhance that. And then, as far as like changing, like doing it for good, like, I like making money, but like I want to use this stuff for other things than just like generating content. Like it's great that I'm making a living doing this, but my hope is that in being a part of it, like, like I'm advancing humanity, and I have family members who like suffer from chronic, just one example is like they suffer from chronic illnesses, and where I see AI being like a solution is if you take like all of the papers written on, diabetes or autoimmune disorders or schizoaffective disorder, and you like build a language model based on like all of those research papers, something that would have taken a medical professional maybe 25 years or the whole career to understand and become experts in. Like now they have this model to access all that data. And that's not to say that the model will replace it, but like how it accelerated my job, it's now accelerating the job of people who are trying to treat diseases, and that can save somebody like 10 years of life, on like maybe they didn't take meds that they shouldn't have taken, you know what I mean? Like it's all about like the human potential. And just as someone who is my position, my existence, my role is like, it is being disruptive. Like there is a space for that of like, we are like, this is the next stage of evolution if we use it right, if it gets into the right hands, but that's a big if. So, anyway.
Do you mind if you put your LinkedIn on there? Because I know it's.
Oh yeah.
And same with the other guy that was there before. I think it was Brad.
Yeah.
His last name.
I
If you guys
will.
don't mind putting your LinkedIn's on there, or if you want to, I have my LinkedIn on there already. If you want to connect with me, that'd be great.
Okay.
I'm very serious about what I'm doing.
Okay.
And I've done a study for 6 months. I've been to Dubai. I've been to Iraq as well in the last 6 months. And I'm trying to like do this whole thing with solar energy. Use AI with that. Oh my God.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, again, and that's like, renewable resources. Instead of being 10 years out, we could be 3 months out. You know what I mean? Like, I'll try to do that. I don't have my computer. I'm on Kyle's weird computer.
Did you put your?
I did not. I was.
Well, you do have. So I did put my LinkedIn on there. If you want to connect with me, that'd be great. As
Okay,
well.
that'd be great. I'll do that.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Great. Who's next, Allie?
I keep turning off my mic here. We got HT up next.
Hello, everyone. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, HT?
So I didn't introduce myself at the beginning, but I've got a background in technology, and then the last 20 years or so, healthcare technology specifically. And if we go way back, even career elements with Kyle himself. So I resonate deeply with all of the comparisons being made to the dawn of the World Wide Web. One of the things I've spent a lot of time on recently is the relationship of AI to really making a massive transition in healthcare. And in previous speaker talked about it a little bit. And I'm going to share with you guys a very, very personal example. So I'm kind of psyching myself up for it. But the democratization of access to diagnostic tools is kind of overwhelming. And I see a lot of angst over AI in the medical community related to, well, it has to be ethical and it has to be controlled and we have to have people in the middle. And that's all very, very true. But I personally am more interested in the way in which it's going to put these tools in the hands of individuals. And much in the same way, you know, Kylie, you've talked about the me application. There's the me doctor too, right? So now you have the ability to not just drive healthcare processes and diagnostics on your own, sort of. I mean, we always want to put some kind of ethical and human controls in the middle, but at least there's a premise that no one knows you better than you. No one has your information better than your information. And the power of these tools is really compelling. So let me share with you an example. And I want to, and this is true confessional. I'm deep into tools to apply this in some way. I'm coding, I'm hosting Llama 2 locally, I'm hosting it on servers online. It's getting very, very deep. But the reason is I'll give you guys the punchline. My son Jack's 14 years old. He's awesome, smart kid, into sports, healthy, but he is a cancer survivor, and he was diagnosed with leukemia at 7 years old, and the treatment was really 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but the good part of the story is they literally use the cure word with him, and he's awesome.
Wow.
So this has caused me to become a thanks a bit of an amateur hematologist. So if anybody wants to talk about mean corpuscular volume and the way it relates to childhood blood cancers, I'm all over it.
Yeah. We have an
But
HT bot, guys. We have an HT bot
Yeah,
right
exactly.
here. So,
All right, so
yeah.
so what has stunned me is, as I have kind of rolled my eyes at some people online and some of my even close friends on LinkedIn saying we got to protect these tools, I'm actually thinking the other way. And so what I have at my hands is a little bit of information about my own son, and his diagnosis was clunky because it's not a common disease, right? When you go to the doctor for an issue, it's the, hearing zebras thing. However, his pediatrician, just to kind of give you a story, he was experiencing some back pain, which we thought was from an injury. It turned out that was bone pain is a part of leukemia in its early stages. That's what it was. His pediatrician ordered a comprehensive blood panel, and that was early in his process. And we got the comprehensive blood panel. Pediatrician looked at it and said, his white blood cells are fine, and there's a couple weird things on here, but I'm not really worried about it. Let's look at other stuff. So some physical therapy and other issues. We finally went to a specialist out of town, oddly enough, an orthopedic specialist who'd said, you know what? This was a month later. We really need to look a little deeper here. So it was about a month gap between the pediatrician's instinct to have this comprehensive blood panel and his ultimate diagnosis. So I have gone back and modeled, I've researched how to ask diagnostic questions.
Wow.
Cool.
And how to stuff prompts in AIs. And this isn't rocket science, and it's not anything overwhelmingly, secret or special, but just basic research on how to ask the questions and how to rank things, and basically how to create the profile, much like Kyle did in his demo, to create a physician profile and to make sure that the AI is working through the answers. And the very first time I tried it, I created the set of prompts. I gave the AI my son's first blood test, and I said no more than, this is a 7-year-old male experiencing severe back pain. And instantly, it gave me a stack ranked set of diagnoses. Very first diagnosis with leukemia.
Wow. That's
And
fucking amazing.
I have repeated this process through all of the major AIs, including now trying to build something with Llama 2 specifically to drive this. And in virtually all cases, leukemia is in there somewhere, right? So depending on how you ask it. And some of it has to do with the way the AIs are interpreting the input of medical data. Ironically, Claude has been amazing at processing medical data. So if there's any weirdly, and I think it has to do with the fact that it accepts documents and has a very large token input range. They can take a lot of input.
Yep.
But they all work. So I have not shared this much outside of my family, but somebody called this a confessional, and I respect this group and I respect the leadership here, and thought I would take a moment and share with you some of the work that I'm doing. I wish I had a demo right now, but replicate.com, which is where I'm. If you haven't tried replicating, there's a bunch of other tools out there to host your own models. They're worth looking into if you want to get super nerdy about hosting large language models. Replicate's a great site, but they're hardly the only one. It's not working.
Oh no!
My Llama 2 model is down.
Your Llama 2 model is not working. Well, if you've got the mechanism for how you created your prompt, if you'd be willing to share what you did, you say, well, it's not necessarily a big deal. This is something Lee and I talked about a lot, is that the thing that feels obvious and simple to you is going to be revelatory to someone else. And I also just want to acknowledge you for sharing that, HT. That there's generosity, exemplified. So thank you.
I also I think that there are moments when AI really is going to change our world, and this is one of them. That other families that could be impacted this way it's remarkable. Do you know if there are programs out there that are helping doctors and health professionals with their charts? Like all of the notes they need to take and that sort of like all of that admin work that they need to do. Do you know if they're
the big one out there? Well, they're all, as you might think, in the space, it's exploding. But one of the big ones is a company called Glass Health. Right, they're closed. If anybody happens to be a physician on here, you can get access to Glass Health, but normies can't yet. And that's one of my. I rankle at that a little bit. Like, I think that opening up these tools to everyone is going to be really important. I also think that from a privacy standpoint, loading an AI with everything you would want it to know about you from a health standpoint is a much like an experience with your own physician, something that you may want to keep private. So I think the idea that personalized tools for healthcare are important. But yes, there's a ton of there's a number of companies out there that manage software to manage electronic medical records. And the big ones are companies like Epic Healthcare, Cerner. There's the whole laundry list of them. And they're all working on applying AI to the analysis of EHRs. And then diagnostic support tools are coming out of the woodwork. But what I don't see a lot of is diagnostic support tools intended to support individuals or everyone,
caregivers or families.
Right. They're themselves. And that's where I'm spending my time and where I want to go.
It's amazing. I can't wait to see your prompts.
Yeah. Do you know if MedPalm, you've heard of MedPalm? Is that out yet?
Yeah, that's a really good point. That there is, so Google is working on a large language model that is explicitly for diagnostic work, right? So they're loading it with not just the kinds of things that would be in all the other large language models, but explicitly diagnostic research papers or medical research papers. And it behind the scenes, it's not released publicly yet, Kyle, at least not to my knowledge. But again, yeah, there's a large language model being built specifically for this kind of application.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
The crazy thing is, though, that in my experience, the LLMs that are already available are surprisingly good at this.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see the day where I'm going to feed the AI pictures of myself and some diagnostic information, and is going to be very adept at providing at least where to go, or what to do next from a personal healthcare standpoint, and that's pretty compelling. It's scary too, but it's very compelling.
Well, I think Apple's probably going to be a major player here because they've got the privacy stuff down. They've got HealthKit, right? They've got the foundation to be able to do the personal stuff you're talking about in a powerful way.
They also have a massive amount of healthcare data, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sampling my heart rate on a regular basis. I've got all kinds of information about where I've been. If you gave it access to, there's a whole research study on just what's revealed in a photo of yourself. So from a healthcare standpoint.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Diagnosis, passive diagnosis, video and audio, and
voice analysis for Parkinson's, things like that. Yeah,
all of it. Yes, awesome. And then already those tools can provide some kind of terrifying guidance on what your future holds. But the in any case, someone like Apple, who gets the privacy right but has access to a tremendous amount of personal demographic information and personal health information, certainly will be able to apply these kinds of AI tools. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, HT. That was great.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing. Thank you.
Who's next? Jason, I think.
Yeah. Am I allowed to share my screen?
Yeah.
Yep, go for it.
Perfect.
You may, if you haven't shared before on Google Meet, you might need to give it permission if you're on OS X.
All right.
Oh, you're there.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd share a couple tools that I ran across. I think you, Kyle, talked about plugins. One of the plugins I've been finding pretty nice to use is VoxScript within OpenAI's GPT-4. And what this can do is you can feed it a link from YouTube, and then it'll go ahead and it'll break down that YouTube video so that you don't, if you're short on time and don't want to actually watch a 20-minute video on how to use LangChain, I can go ahead and
cool.
throw that link in there. And then I'm not sure what it's doing behind the scenes. Looks like it's probably requesting the transcript, but then it can go ahead and create content. So if I wanted to create maybe a blog from a YouTube video, or if I wanted to create an instructional like I did here, I can go ahead and use that plugin, which is VoxScript. Another thing I've been playing around, actually it's been a while since I played around with this. There was something that came out a while back called AutoGPT.
Yep.
Where you can basically give, it uses OpenAI behind the scenes, but you can give it a task, and you can actually give it a few different tasks. And then if you have an API key, you can go ahead and launch it, and it will go ahead and try to accomplish all these tasks. And it comes out with output files. You can watch it do research behind the scenes. But yeah, this is godmode.space. There's another one I think called Baby AGI that does something similar. Something else, I heard somebody earlier was talking about APIs and using, I think, 11 Labs API for a project. One of the nice things that Google has out here is what do they call it? A notebook for Python. So if you want to run Python code, Colab .research.google.com. You can come in here and run APIs and different things through Python. So this is actually this is 11 Labs API that I run. So if I was building an app, I could go ahead and do some of the testing of the API here on something like this. And then I guess the last thing I'll share is just LangChain. I know there's a couple. I am not a programmer, but I know there's a couple programmers on the call. And LangChain is a Python framework that allows you to use different agents from Hugging Face or OpenAI or Claude and create your own. Using Python, you can create different apps that use large language models. So that is all I have.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing those. Yeah, Colab, for those of you that haven't played with it, a lot of times if you go to GitHub or you'll see people on Reddit where they'll talk about, you know, a large language model came out and so developer created a Colab notebook. And basically, once you get an address to one of those Colab notebooks, you basically just launch it in Google Colab and you basically just hit play buttons on code that other people have written. And that's, if you're launching Stable Diffusion or doing Automatic 1111, you've probably gone through that. But you know, you need to kind of understand programming logic and sort of inputs and outputs. But once you kind of get that, it makes building applications or just taking someone else's application and understanding how they did it, and maybe even modifying a bit, makes it quite simple. So yeah, thank you for sharing those.
Hey, Roger, did we missed a question? I feel bad now.
Oh, Roger had a question?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm clearly not as good at this as Ken.
Yeah. As an engineer, I have to ask, did you test your thing for false positives, basically to see that it doesn't say that everything is leukemia?
Yeah, it's a really good question. In a rudimentary way, I did by stuffing it. I used his same, effectively the same blood test, and I renormalized everything. I put 100% of his diagnosis right down the middle, and it never talked about autoimmune issues or leukemia after that. It understood that with a blood test that normal, it was the ranking of diagnosis was lean toward a physical injury, which is pretty impressive because it was clear. It was clear doing that meant that the results were impacting the diagnosis it was producing.
Yeah,
so
it's
great question.
Yeah, it seems like I sort of understood that it wasn't a systemic issue if it doesn't show up in any of those systemic parameters, right?
Right. And now where it did, you know, the more information you provide it and the more careful you are about telling it to be safe and act like a physician. And the two problems I have had with it are, one, it won't answer because, you know, I'm just an AI and I can't provide medical guidance, right? So that's something that you run into and you get past with prompting. And then the other one is to make sure that you're not asking for a singular diagnosis. Because as a human, you can rule out some stuff that, you know, you may know some bit of detail like, oh, and it's not that. So you want an AI to always give you a list of stuff. And I threw in the chat, stacked ranked differential diagnosis is the kind of key phrase. If anybody wants to try this, give it some data.
I feel like we should all go back to old episodes of House and see if we can diagnose it before.
Well,
House
you know,
does.
right. So
Oh my
that's
God, yes.
Isn't that good?
part of the challenge is having profile data to do it with.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
Roger, this is why, you know, this is why there's a lot of angst over the space and making sure that physicians are in control, because, you know, the AI is going to get this wrong at some point and somebody's going to believe it.
Right.
I don't know that that's any more dangerous than, you know, people Googling their own disease states, but
Quite frankly, to your point, being misdiagnosed for a year or two, right? You know, my kids with Lyme, it was 2 years. So is it more dangerous to, you know?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that scale tips in favor of providing the tools
Yeah.
in the full.
It'll probably
kind
have less,
of this.
you know, what do you call it? The lawsuits. We'll have probably fewer lawsuits. Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of that. Or maybe they start suing OpenAI. Anyway, we've got about 8 minutes left. I know Jane wants to say something. We've got some other hands raised. So let's try to do some rapid fire confessionals here. So who's next? You want to go, Jane?
Yeah, I think mine will
All
be
right.
quick.
Okay.
So at the beginning of all of our meetings, we kind of talk about the values like collaboration and generosity and empathy and stuff like that. And that's a lot about how we kind of conduct ourselves and treat each other within the group. But I also realized that like those could be a compass for how we conduct ourselves in the greater world and how we have conversations with people who are maybe curious or scared or what have you. And the last week or so, I've had a couple conversations with people where those values have helped me like have a compass. And the first was with my dad, and I was just kind of telling him about this stuff. And, you know, he asked me the questions like, well, aren't you afraid of X, Y, and Z? And I was like, yeah, welcome to my existential crisis. It's been going on for months, you know? And then, you know, he asked me like, well, I don't understand how these things work. And I was like, yeah, like the people who designed them don't know how they work. And so like just that idea of just like empathy and generosity, like it helped me meet him where he was at and kind of share that experience with him. And then last night, I was having a conversation with a bartender I work with, and I don't know how AI came up, but she was just like, oh yeah, you know, AIs won't replace bartenders because people like talking to people. And that's I got triggered, you know, because it kind of set me off a little bit. And so again, the values were a compass to kind of just bring me back to earth and be like, okay, how can I engage with this person and ask the right questions? And we had a very like nuanced conversation. We were able to kind of see eye to eye on some things, even though I didn't really agree with everything. So, you know, just as you're going out in the world, whether or not you stay with this group, is those values can be your compass and help you guide you and how you like bring people into the fold or educate them or share your experiences or learn or like meet new people you build stuff with. So that's kind of something that I've been practicing with over the last few weeks or so. Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Beauty. Who's next? Allie, you have our who's next?
Yep, we got Joey up next.
Hey, I'll go quickly here because got some people waiting. There's not much time left. I wanted to jump on what she was saying, where she was saying like most people, you know, are going to want a human aspect of it. I would actually argue that part. I would say yes, I agree with that, but then there's already people using it as their therapist, and if the AI can get insights that a human can without human error, why wouldn't you want to use a therapist that can help you get past your issues?
Yeah.
That was just an example.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna say was that
Ryan doesn't
actually,
like it.
I was gonna, I was actually gonna share when I first used ChatGPT. I used it for the person that showed it to me was like, oh yeah, you can ask it to like set you up like personal training or anything or something like that. And now that I look back at it, I think, and it was a cousin of mine, he was probably telling me low key like, hey man, you let yourself go, like you need to get back in shape. And so I used it back for January was when I first prompted it, and I didn't follow the exact thing that it gave me. But I lost 47 pounds because of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I was 229 pounds back in December, and I'm currently 170. So, yeah, crazy stuff.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, another thing, and real fast, somebody mentioned like AI tools for like clinics and things like that, like HIPAA compliance. And actually, so I used to do WordPress sites for private practice therapists and would help them encrypt emails and things like that. And now I rebrand it completely to AI. I don't do websites as much. And if I do a website, it has to have some sort of AI integrated into it. But I actually do work with clinics and private practice therapists and stuff still. And I integrate AI systems and machine learning where they can use it. And that data is not sent back to OpenAI or any other tech company that has it.
That's great. Awesome. All right, 3 minutes. Who's next?
Nakia, you're up.
I was about to text actually Joey right now to say, you know what, that wasn't why I had my hands up, but honestly, I totally understand where you're like, you know, I want to lose weight. I get it. Build me a plan, that kind of stuff. That's honestly kudos on you. And by the way, I'm also like very like proud of the fact that happened.
Yeah.
But I have totally disagree with the fact that no, therapy cannot fucking be AI. And if that day happens,
You'll be surprised.
No.
Some people are already doing it.
no,
AI therapy could very well be more effective than non-AI therapy. That's what we're finding in the medical
I don't think
practice.
you realize what therapy is. The therapy is like a worldwide. So have you ever been to Iraq? Have you been to Afghanistan? Have you ever heard or listened to the cries of children when there's a bombing happening in the country? So you
Not
not
exactly,
go,
but I have had
Right?
my own trauma, and I have seen people get killed and things like that. So yes.
exact. So when you say that to me, Joey, right now,
I'm not saying
And-
everybody, because there's definitely going to be human aspect to it.
There's
I'm
also
saying if the
therapist
AI somehow is
shortage.
better, then why wouldn't you use it?
There's also a massive therapist shortage. So those people that need therapy in countries that
true.
don't
I
have
have heard
access can benefit from AI therapy. If that's like, if we're
There's not enough
talking
therapists.
choose between two evils, like
I can cool this down.
James
no, we will fight.
No,
I'm
It's
just
a
kidding. I'm
first
just
big
kidding.
salon controversy.
So this is where like
I-
this is where the values come in is like, so what I think what the overarching idea is, and this is the conversation I had with the bartender last night, is, you know, people are afraid that the human is going to get just gone, you know, like whether that's therapy or writing,
Optional.
it's exactly, or AI is going to the AI is going to take over everything and the human element. And it's like, no, like we still decide how people, you know, how humans play a role in it. So like you'll still have bartenders, but then you're going to have someone who like sits at home and maybe it's not healthy, I don't know, but like, or you have people who can, I mean, like we all know the cost of healthcare, and if you can't afford a therapist and you need help, you know, like
You can scale it.
that is going to give you that access, but that doesn't mean that we replace all therapists with AI bots. So it's
Agreed.
Agreed.
it's all about like, this is the big question, is what is the role of humans? How do we maintain our humanity? And it doesn't mean that the humanity is gone if we use these tools. It doesn't completely erase us. We just decide how we use it.
Yep. How and when.
How
Yep.
and when, yeah.
Awesome.
I think that it'll be interesting to see how our world even evolves as we define healthcare and mental health care. And going back to HT's thought about we're all going to have our own personal, we have our own personal fill in the blank, right? We have our own personal assistant, our own personal therapist, our own personal trainer, our own personal diagnostic tool. And what our role as humans will become from that, right? What will therapy look like? What will it look like to be an oncologist, right? What will it look to be a photographer, a programmer, all of these things when we have our own personal AI helper right there.
Yeah,
And I think
agent.
that's
That's
an
yeah.
agent, right? That's a huge,
Yeah.
that's a huge
That's
conversation.
my
Yeah.
question. So I
Okay.
know we're on time, and I think I'm okay to. I know we're on time right now, but so my question was more to do with the fact that on a realistic perspective, I still want to, if I can, speak to people regarding 5-year plan from today, right? In regards to how do we use AI to help third world countries, right? In regards to maybe solar panel installation, in regards to maybe them having an AI perspective on, you know, a therapist, because we would never be able to be a therapist for them because we're not in their shoes.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I would encourage you. So we are at time. I apologize to those who have their hands raised because I do want to be respectful of people's times. So I'd encourage you all to move to Discord. Let's continue the conversation. Start those collaborations like you're talking about. And Leah, thank you once again.
Sorry, can I ask just pose a quick question to the group, basically, which is from Nakia, what you were saying, and I've heard this a few times across the group. It sounds like there might be an opportunity that maybe individual members of this group would like to be able to organize their own work sessions on various topics. Is that kind of sounding like what you're asking, Nakia? Like for you to be able to organize a session specifically about solar energy within this group?
I'll be happy to do that, one. And two is that if we can have an inventory, like literally an Excel sheet saying, hey, here's an inventory of all the AI tools that we have. Here's what it costs, or here's a free version of that. I'm more than happy to do that as well on a Trello board. I think that'd be a good way to update people and say, hey, here's a Trello board. Here's an update, and we give them a link. And I can totally help with that because I do have a lot of software technology experience. So don't underestimate what I
We will not. Okay, cool. Well, I guess I just wanted to put that food for thought out there that is a possibility for this group, that people can, there can be other events outside of this main Tuesday meetup. And we are very much open to members of this community, standing up, raising their hand and saying, I want to do this thing. So please don't ever feel held back, and always reach out and let us know if there's something that you want to run with.
Yeah,
I do. I do actually have you, Ali, on LinkedIn. I don't have. I think Kyle, I tried to search for you, and Leah as well. I couldn't exactly.
I sent you an invite, Nakia. Yeah.
Great.
So
and just jump on the Discord, and you might be able to organize some of those groups within the Discord. Ali's the organizer of Discord.
Working for some weird reason. I don't know why it's kicking me out all the time. I'm not sure what's happening there. So I would love for one of you
what happened?
to help me to get on the Discord. I don't know why I can't.
Yeah, message me on LinkedIn. I can help you with that.
Perfect.
All right. Great.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Good night. See you on Discord.
Bye, everybody.
See you on LinkedIn.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Everyone have a good night. Have fun starting the castle.
Yes.
Goodbye.